This is a word of encouragement. This week we've been talking about Job in these word of encouragements. Monday we talked about he feared. He was living in fear for his kids, said not to do that. Yesterday we said that Job had a tremendous commitment to God. He said not even God would make him stop believing and trusting in God. Today I want to talk about Job's comforters, as they're called. These three men that come and try to, quote unquote, comfort Job. And they actually are accusing him. They're throwing accusation after accusation after accusation against him. Let me read to you from Job chapter 11, verse 14 and 15. It says, "If iniquity be in thine hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles. For then shalt thou lift up thy face without spot, yea, thou shalt be steadfast and shall not fear." You say, well, Brother Ken, how's this going to be encouraging? It's supposed to be a word of encouragement. Well, I'm going to tell you, you need to get the right kind of friends to be your comforter. But first of all, before I get into that, I want to say this. God knows what you're going through, okay? He's the first comforter that you ought to turn to. God knows exactly what you're going through. Every difficulty, every problem, every trial, he knows. In fact, he knew it before the foundations of the world were laid. And he has worked out a plan to get you out of that situation if you will trust him. So don't turn to men, turn to God. If you want to be encouraged, turn first to God. Okay? He is your best comforter. But the next thing I want to talk about is that you need to get the right kind of friends. If you are going through a difficulty, a trial, a problem, then you need to get to someone who shares your best interest, who has your best interest at heart, who actually wants to help you. These three seem to be trying to put themselves above Job and to say, okay, we've got all the answers and you are sinning and blah, 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 blah. So find people that you trust. Find other Christians that you trust and you can turn to, and they will help you. I remember back when I was ill in the 90s, I had so many people tell me, well, Brother Ken, there must be sin in your life. That's why you're sick. And I thought, I've repented of every sin I could ever think of. Or they say, God's trying to teach you something. And I say, well, I must be deaf because that sickness lasted for 6.5 years. I didn't pay much attention to those people, but I sought out people who had my best interest at heart, who cared about me. And they prayed with me. So first of all, turn to God. Secondly, find the right people. And thirdly, one of the best places you can find the right people is in church. You need to not quit church. Do not, if you want to be encouraged, you need to continually be in the house of God. Do not separate yourself because the devil attacks people who have separated themselves. Brother Jimmy Evans tells a story of, he was in South Africa and they were on a game preserve and they would encounter lions. And the guides told them that as long as you stayed in the Range Rover, that the lions would look and just see it as one mass animal and would not attack it because it was too big for them to attack. He said, if you were to stand up or get out of the Range Rover, the lions would attack you. In fact, there was a story of one man who stepped out of the other Range Rover and the lion attacked and killed him right in front of his family. And that Range Rover represents the church. If you're going through a trouble, a problem, a difficulty, go to God first. Number two, find good people in your life. And then thirdly, don't separate yourself from church because that's where you can hear the word. That's where you can involve in worship. That's where you can involve in praise. And that's where your strength will come from when you are in a troubled time. So learn from Job. Find the right people and let them encourage you and lift you up and not bring you down. Praise God.